They thought it was a game, but then he grabbed the mic on the floor, and Wall Street shut the hell up.
Call Rick. He called a shot and a tick, make the market do a flip. Call Rick. He got the floor in the grip, tell the Fed suck a dick. Call Rick. No script, just spit, every bomb boy dip. Call Rick. The realest one left, that's it. Yo, Santelli stepping in, floor flashing like a riot scene. T-bills in the air screaming freedom like it's 1917. Spitting tickets like a preacher in a pulpit of greed, while Powell printing trillions like the market don't bleed. Got that trench coat swag like Capone with a mic on. He don't need a desk, CNBC is Python. Snakes in the grass, he hedge them with a tight bond. Spitting facts raw than the coke that the white's on. Rick got the street smarts mixed with market math. Taught bulls a charge while he laugh in a bubble bath. His ticker talk tick like a Glock in the glass. Man, he ETF the nation with a verbal bypass. Rick. Said inflation's a trick, now the market looking sick. Rick. His voice make him trip, bonds curl up and dip. Rick. They fear the floor king quick, he don't blink, he don't flick. Rick. Ain't no coddled analyst, he that brick by brick. Santelli speak like the ghost of the Dow. Back when coke deals got you equity now. Shirt cuff tied loose, spit truth with a scowl. A voice so sharp it cut debt from a vow. Options in his pocket like coins in a pre-straight. Talking yield curves while your funds get souffle. Fed boys tremble, they stutter when he relay. By the dip, nah son, Rick been prepaying. Bloomberg cute, he that alleyway data. Grew up with the wolves eating spreads off the beta. Ain't no ETF smoothing out his behavior. He call a crash like a prophet, no savior. Cash flow lava, his mind like a black box. Watch NBC live, you might need a Xanax. Rick spit war like a quant with a padlock. Guns go gamma and a mean ass backdrop. He ain't from the suits, he from the truth. Floorboard profit, bond market locksmith. He don't chase yield, yield chases him. Rick ain't worried about the next run, he built it. Rick. Make your algos glitch with a truth so rich. Rick. He don't flinch, don't switch, just spit and pitch. Rick. The voice of the pit, every tick got grit. Rick. The street crown king, that's it. Wall Street warrior.
Brother. Let's give it up for Rick and another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show. Good morning. It is a beautiful Thursday, June the 26th. And folks, we're officially in that summertime, you know? You can feel it. I don't know how it is where you are, but I'm in New York here, and it is as hot as it could possibly be, dude. 8 p.m. last night, it's still like over 90 freaking degrees. I'm sweating like no other, but I can't complain. In all reality, thinking back to the December, January, February timeframe when it was absolutely frigid and raining and gloomy, I'm going to take this any day. You can almost just feel that seasonal depression leaving your system with the sunshine, and you know, we shouldn't be complaining about the heat because it could be so much worse. Folks, I hope you're having a great day. I really do. I hope you made a bunch of money yesterday. I happened to not make a bunch of money yesterday. I lost my Apex accounts and then was able to get 18 of 20 of them back for some reason. My trade copier didn't work on 2. So I'm going to need your help this morning to try to get the other 2, the 2 of the 18, across the finish line. So I'm very much going to be relying on all of you for that at market open today. So get ready for that. I'm going to need you guys to vote if you're bullish or you're bearish. I just need you guys to tell me what you think the very first impulse of the day is going to be. The very first impulse. So I'm like saying market open. Do we pop up or do we drop down? That's exactly what I'm going to be asking you for. So obviously think about that, crunch the numbers, do whatever you need to. Yesterday in itself was kind of a choppy nothing day. We were slightly green. It really didn't happen. The bulls are still in control. We had a nice gap up. It sold off basically to the closing value, and then that was it. That was the day. And I don't want to be the guy. Remember, don't shoot the messenger, but there's a chance that today is just like that. The expected move on the day, today's IV, is extremely low. In fact, it's one of the lowest that we've seen in a while. So Maybe it's wrong. Maybe the options market is pricing it in wrong. But right now, the expected range on the day is very, very small. But hey, maybe we're still going to be able to find some opportunity. Maybe we'll still be able to find that just amazing, amazing opportunity. So I'm going to break down some of the news of this morning. The big thing is the initial jobless claims and GDP. GDP definitely came in lower than expected. That's why exactly at 8:30 you saw a bit of a hit in the market. Not the biggest thing. If anything, I think tomorrow's going to be a little bit more important with the PCE inflation report, but that's exactly why at 8:30 you saw a bit of a hit. So we're going to be going over that. Then I wanted to talk actually more specifically about New York, just because I can't really find that much of other interesting finance news, but I want to talk about how New York is, it's freaking scary now. Did you guys see who won the primary for on the Democratic side? A legit socialist, like a straight up bona fide, like happy to announce it to the rest of the world. A legit socialist is most likely going to become the next mayor of New York City. So I kind of want to get into that a little bit, just to, I don't know, is Gen Z just stupid? Like, have they never cracked open a book, a history book at one point ever? Do they not know that this has been tried multiple times throughout human history, and there's not a single example of socialism ever working? Like, are they really that stupid? So we could have a couple good rants there. A little bit of individual equity news related to really the semiconductor space, but Micron having good earnings, NVDA pushing once again to an all-time high, the world's most valuable company. And then from there, the market's going to go dingity ding ding ding. We're going to open up. We're going to see if we can make some good trades. So I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready to rip it today. I hope you guys are ready for a good one. So when you get a move from New York, dude, honestly, at this rate, probably next year. I don't need to live in a town that the taxes are already extraordinarily high. They're just going to get higher, and they're doing stupid fucking things like government-run grocery stores. Folks, this has been tested before. This isn't a thought experiment. We have the data on it, not only here in the U.S., but also internationally, and also just through hundreds of years of written history. It does not work. It does not work. I mean, dude, look at how quickly San Francisco is falling apart, and then the dumbasses here, like, have no idea what they're gonna, like, it's just such a social media headline driven thing of, oh, it just sounds good. Like the guy was basically running on like, hey, I'm going to make housing more affordable. And they just got sucked into this trick of, oh, okay, that sounds good. So just because someone said it, they're going to make it cheaper for him, they just arbitrarily assume that it's like right and accurate and he's going to be able to pull it off. I just cannot believe how stupid these people are, like truly. And what's crazy is they have the demographics of like, how, and I'm not even saying Cuomo was that good of an option. At this point, I basically hope that the Republican side of things could win. I'm in no way campaigning for Cuomo. But what's interesting is the data's kind of out of the breakdown between Cuomo and then the socialist dude. And actually the reason that I found this to be completely fascinating, the reason that Cuomo lost had actually nothing to do with the minority vote. It was the young white and Asian vote that Cuomo did not get at all. How insane is that? Like, I think many of us would be like, okay, you have the socialist and he's going to be somewhat pandering to like this concept of like giving out money. But what's weird, and they have this based on like the different voting districts, a lot of that like base assumption of like who you thought maybe he'd be getting the votes for, at least for me, I was completely wrong. Cuomo ended up losing because he in no way got any of the young white or Asian vote, which I just found that to be completely fascinating. So we could get into that and maybe, I don't know, figure out the issues of the world today. But let me quickly switch this up so you guys can kind of see what's going on. Stock futures tick higher as S&P 500 nears a record high. So taking a little looky-see, we are just above the high of yesterday. We were doing even better until this 8:30 report came out. So we were actually above the high on both the SPY and the Qs. Right now, the SPY is right at the high from yesterday, which we got right at market open. And then the Qs are right below it. But remember, this high at market open on the NASDAQ was actually an all-time high. So if you're counting pre-market trading, this was technically a new all-time high on the NASDAQ. Same thing here, NVIDIA clocking in a new high. If you're counting pre-market trading, technically a new all-time high. Bitcoin trading at 107. So a lot to get into. Clearly the bulls are in control. SPY almost at a new all-time high. The Nasdaq at a new all-time high. And then a lot of our favorite equities also clocking in record levels. So in the very short term, why are we trending down from about an hour or two ago? Well, right here. The GDP report came out. The forecast was a drop of 0.2, and the actual reading came in at a drop of 0.5. That is economic contraction in the face of expected rising inflation and unemployment also potentially going up. Now, the nominal value of unemployment's not good, or it is good, but the expected trend of it is not so good. So when you're at an unemployment report or unemployment rate of about 4%, that's actually really, really good, speaking on a historic basis. Obviously, you don't want that trending up. Like you have to care about the magnitude of the reading and then also the trend of the recent data. So the magnitude is fine. The trend, a little bit concerning. Inflation, the trend is actually good. We've been trending down and down and down, but the magnitude of it, we need to get closer to that 2% level. And also because of the unknown aspects of the tariff deals and the trade war and all that, there are a lot of expectations. And this was what Jerome Powell was saying to both his testimony over the past 2 days was basically everything they're seeing is suggesting that inflation is actually going to be trending back up. So that's a little bit, I mean, obviously, yes, I'm not oblivious to the fact that we dropped at 830, but in the grand scheme of things, this is actually really small. Like we are literally still above the high from yesterday on the SPY, and we were just below the high from yesterday on the Q. So yes, did we take a little bit of a hit in roughly the past 45-ish minutes? Yes, we did. But overall, if you're just generically looking at the 30-minute chart, the 4-hour chart on both the S&P 500 and on the Nasdaq, you're going to realize that we are actually uniquely strong. So I think sometimes you got to just calm down, take a step back, and realize where we are in the grand scheme of things. I mean, this 4-hour chart is very telling. Ever since Friday of last week, we recovered. But even before that, that was even just, I mean, look at this 4-hour chart, just ripping a little bit of sideways flat, nothing. We made this higher low, and then we've been popping. So I get that if you're whatever, a day trader, a scalp trader, you might be thinking, oh, wow, we just broke the 5-minute EMA. And that's fair. I mean, that it's accurate to the time frame that you're on. But I think sometimes it would be beneficial to consider potentially multiple time frames. So I will obviously be reminding you guys of that, and whether you're bullish or bearish is probably hyper dependent on the time frame that you care about, because being bullish or bearish in the next 5 minutes is very different than the next 5 days, which is very different than the next 5 months. But anyway, in the short term, that's why we're taking a little bit of a hit. At the exact same time, we did get some other numbers as well. Durable good orders actually increased, almost doubled up more than expected, and initial jobless claims coming in less than expected. So 2 of these numbers actually positive, and then obviously as of right now, the market is more so reacting to the GDP report, but it's a little bit of just a mixed situation in the early morning macroeconomic report. So that's pretty much the major things we're getting today. At 1 p.m., just after lunch, we're going to get the results of the 7-year bond auction. So yesterday we had the 5-year, the day before that we had the 2-year. It's kind of a weird love-hate relationship. Most of the time, these bond auctions go off without a hitch, and it's to the point that it doesn't impact the market at all, and probably most of us aren't even paying attention to it. But then every so often, we have an absolutely horrific bond auction, and then we see the market turn at 115, and then it just vomits for the rest of the day. So it's one of those things that, like, it's most of the time not that impactful, but then you still have to pay attention to it because sometimes it's massively impactful. So just want to put that out there, that at 1 p.m. today, 7-year bond auction, and then also tomorrow, the inflation report. We're getting the personal consumption expenditure, the PCE inflation report, coming out at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. So obviously be paying attention to that. That's really pretty much the skinny on the macroeconomic situation. At any point, we might be getting some commentary from Fed members. At any point, we might be getting a commentary from either Lutnick, Basent, he was talking yesterday, Hassett, Navarro, or Trump himself on any trade deals. The most recent trade deal information is we're expecting a flurry, quote unquote, of trade deals to be announced right around July 4th. So not really this week, but next week. Don't forget, next week, July 4th, half day of trading on Thursday, and the day is completely no trading on Friday of next week. So next week is very much going to be a shortened trading week. Want to throw that all out there. With all that being said, we could talk about some individual equities. After the market closed yesterday, Micron reported a semiconductor play, and I just want to call out that Nike will be reporting after the market closes today. But circling back to Micron reports earnings, revenue beat, and issues a strong forecast. That is very good for the world of semiconductors, and it's part of the reason why NVIDIA right now is at a new all-time high. NVIDIA shares hit record as AI chipmaker again becomes the world's most valuable company. NVIDIA shares continued to rally yesterday, Wednesday, and closed at a record as investors gain confidence that China export controls won't dampen the company's prospects. The stock is up about 14% in June after jumping 24% last month and finished at an all-time high for the first time since January. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, I believe is how it's pronounced, said in May that the $50 billion China market is effectively closed to the U.S. industry. So if it's opening back up, obviously I would expect this to go higher and higher and higher, but continuing just to ride this AI wave. And here's where we stand. NVIDIA, the world's #1 most valuable company, coming in just above $3.7 trillion. Microsoft at 3.6, Apple at 3. And then by the time you get to number 4, which happens to be Apple, a clear drop, actually a sizable drop down to 2.2, and then Google coming in at 2. It is kind of crazy how much value is exclusively reserved to the top 3 companies in the world. Like, that's actually very, very insane to me. Broadcom, another major semiconductor play, coming in at the 8th most valuable company, and then TSMC coming in at 9. And then I do want to point out that Meta and Microsoft are also in a weird way AI plays, but a little bit farther down the chain. And then obviously Tesla here, rounding out the top 10 at 1 trillion. EV play, and I do have an update video on that. If you didn't see it, it is pinned in the description of this video. We posted it yesterday of why in the short term Tesla's falling. I'm already seeing some questions early today of what in the world is going on with Tesla. And just so you guys know, I did a little bit more of a data breakdown. That's, like I said, linked in the description of the video. Feel free to check it out. Or obviously you could just go directly to the channel and see what the most recent VOD is. So I just want to call that out there. If you want like I said, a more specific data breakdown of what in the world is going on with old Tesla. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, maccourse.locals.com. Comes to your email inbox every single Sunday morning, if I get to it in time, but maybe the Sunday afternoon. Anyway, it comes to your email inbox on Sunday. I break down what's going on in the market. I give you a little cheat sheet of the earnings. We're not technically in earnings season. Generally, this section's a bit more busy. I give you a little cheat sheet of all the major macroeconomic events. The other thing to consider today, as I alluded to before, is that 7-year bond auction at 1 p.m. And then tomorrow morning, inflation report, and then also the consumer sentiment at 10. Probably the most useful section of this, especially for my active traders, is the seasonality of each individual day. This data is from the past 27 years worth of trading in the S&P 500 futures market. And basically, I crunch every single day as if you were to theoretically take that one trade per year, buying at open, selling at close. How would it look in the long term, taking that 1 day's trade, holding all day? And this is where we are on Thursday. Leaning bearish, as in there's not really much seasonal influence. The bulls have won this day 44% of the time. The bears have won it 56%. The profit factor is below 1, which means it's more profitable to be a bear than it is to be a bull. And this is a look at the curve you would have, the equity curve you would have if you bought it open, sold at close on this individual day for the past 27 years, slowly but surely trending down. But it's not full on bearish, because if you notice, about 6-ish years ago, we started to actually get more of an uptrend. So it is seasonally bearish looking at this time frame. If you looked at the past 10 years, you would argue actually it was a nothing burger. And if you looked at the past 3 years, you would actually say it's bullish. So to me, there's just not that strong of a seasonal influence today. So not really taking it into consideration with my trades. And then even tomorrow is more neutral than today is. So with respect to seasonality, I'm not really taking it into account on an individual basis, but I do want to remind you that we are basically at the start of one of the most bullish periods of the entire year. The late June to mid-July, right here, June, you can see it. This is about the past 3 decades worth of data. This is the seasonal influence. By the time you get to late June, all the way to pretty much the end of July, there's about a 4 to 5 week period here where from a seasonal perspective, the bulls dominate. Over the last 10 years, the NASDAQ has been green every single July. Every single July for the last 10 years, the NASDAQ has put in a positive month. So does that mean it has to repeat this time around? No, there's no rules like that. But obviously, seasonality is important. And that's why we have the saying in the market, history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. And right now, the tune that everyone is humming for the month of July is pretty much that the bulls are in control. It is clearly not a guarantee, but just in terms of odds, it is statistically better to be a bull in the summer period than it is to be a bear. So just wanted to share that. Obviously, sign up for the newsletter, mattkohrs.locals.com. My mom will drop it in chat. It's also in the description of the video. And like I said, it is 100% free. And now I kind of want to go back to some of this crazy stuff right here. The young college grads who propelled, how do you even say his name? Mamdani. Basically, we just have a hardcore socialist who most likely will be the next mayor of New York. Here's an interesting update from Bloomberg, but I just need you to know the TLDR here is this guy isn't like a hidden socialist. He like actively hates capitalism. $65 million for gender affirming care for children. He wants to do New York. He wants to do state-run grocery stores. He basically, this is the classic guy that like by his own admission, hates capitalism. Actively has multiple times on his social media wanted to defund the police. Like it's that level. Like this is not one of those guys where you're like, oh, it's like very democratic, like maybe bordering on the realm of socialism, like Bernie Sanders, like someone who's like kind of in that gray area. This guy's like way over the line, like by his own admission. Hardcore socialist. And this is what happens when you have a bunch of uninformed voters, young voters, who are like, that sounds good, I want cheaper housing, and they don't realize necessarily what they're actually being pitched.
People are worried about this. It is expensive to live in New York City. It's expensive to live anywhere. It's extra expensive to live in New York City. It's fueled this massive swing to the left. And Wall Street's worried.
Wall Street's worried, and you usually don't see these kind of market moves on the back of a primary election in a mayoral race. So this is not even the general election, right? This is a primary to determine who within the Democratic Party will enter that race in November. But I think there's sort of two things here, right? There's that market issue, which of course, stocks connected to New York City real estate, whether they lend to apartments in New York City or whether they are REITs that have exposure to the New York real estate market, those taking a hit on the back of this news. But again, there's the other piece of this, which is the wealthy being concerned. And then, of course, the concerns that if rich residents of New York City leave, you lose that tax base. And I think I kind of break down the rich in New York into 3 categories. So there are these sort of, young hotshot Wall Street types who are pretty mobile. You've got the kind of wealthy families in the middle who live in the Upper East Side, Upper West Side. They're kind of stuck in New York. They don't want to leave Dalton or Horace Mann or the Yale Club. So they're kind of stuck. And then you've got the kind of retiree set who love the cultural events. They also have a place down in Florida, and they're fine to go.
The New York Times has got a thing this morning kind of running through who voted. It's a higher income residents, Mamdani. Middle income residents, Mamdani. It was the lower income that actually skewed Cuomo. So
that's what's so fascinating about this one.
You're referencing.
Yeah, this is the shift that you're seeing, and it's really interesting in U.S. politics where people aren't necessarily voting in terms of their class interests or even their kind of pocketbook interests. They're voting more on kind of these social issues. And I think one of the things that policymakers and investors are trying to get a sense of is where does the Democratic Party go post-Trump, right? I know people who are working in D.C. in policy right now who are trying to think of legislative proposals that they will implement if a Republican does not win the presidential election. And that gets at this bigger theme of where is the Democratic Party heading? And I think the concern here is you take the New York mayoral primary and you extrapolate it out to the U.S. Is that a kind of sign of a leftward move on policy where people are even voting against their own kind of wealth interests? I think that's why there's been so much market reaction to this. Is this the read for the direction of the Democratic Party.
Yes, because if it were just about being the New York mayor, there's still a whole load of steps between where we are now and this person having the levers of power to control the things, the policies that Critty outlined.
And talking about the levers of power, some of these policy proposals that you're hearing from the candidate would be very difficult to implement. So tax raises on the rich, those would have to be approved by Governor Kathy Hochul, who is a very moderate Democrat. She's from upstate, so that would be difficult. We're hearing about, a significant...
Hang on, I need to pause this because this is one of the most insane comments I've ever heard. According to Nerdfest UK, socialism equals capitalism plus decent wages and health care. Oh my God, I can't. This early? We're going to have people be retarded this early? Yeah, that's totally the definition of socialism. It's always worked out in that exact... You're so spot on. You're so smart. You're so informed. You are definitely the smartest person in this room. And there is literally no precedent ever set by just the definition of word, a historic event, or anything along those lines that would disprove your statement of socialism is capitalism plus decent wages and healthcare. You stupid, stupid fuck. How fucking dumb can you be? Like, the fact that we have pretty much access to everything, an individual, especially in the US right now, we have the most access to information we've ever had in the history of man. And yet we have people like this. Yeah, that's all socialism is. Jesus Christ. Like, do people not like consume any pieces of information? Do you have any concept of what's going on in San Francisco? Do you have any concept of what is going on in London? Do you know what happened in Cuba? Do you know what happened in Venezuela? Do people just not pay attention to any single piece of history or any global event currently going on? You dumb motherfucker. Matt, you have been understand that being a democratic socialist does not mean that you're going to bring socialism to New York. Tim, you are such a stupid fucker. Have you not read one thing that this guy said? Tim, how do you think it works when you defund the police in a metropolitan area that is currently rampant with crime? How do you think that works? How seriously, Tim? Like you're so smart. You're just so incredibly smart. All they're going to do is tax out the rich people. They're going to leave. They're going to go to their mansions elsewhere. And then the city is going to be stuck with these exorbitant bills. The top 1 to 2% are already paying over 90 to 95% of the city's taxes. People just don't have any form of critical thought. Show me where he wants to defund the police. Okay, Tim, if I do this, will you send me $1,000? I'm not even going to keep it. I'm going to be a socialist and I'm going to give it away to the rest of chat. But Tim, right here, in all caps, you're screaming, show me where he wants to defund the police. If I do this, you send me $1,000 and I will be a socialist and I will give it away to the rest of chat. Tim, if you're so right and you're so informed and you're so positive that I don't know what I'm talking about, look, come on, just agree to it, Tim. You like socialism? This is a win-win for everyone. You love socialism. I'll give away your money. And on top of that, you have this opportunity to prove me wrong. It is a win-win. If I'm wrong, I'll give you $1,000. I'm right. You give me $1,000. I give it away to chat. I'm wrong. I give you $1,000 and you can do whatever you want with it. That's fair. Tim, you're getting awfully quiet. Tim, as a policy that he has run on for mayoral campaign, yes. Tim, answer the question. Do you want to do it or not? Tim, right here, you said in all caps, this is your exact sentence. Show me where he wants to defund the police. That is your statement. That's it, in all caps. I will show you. Tim, you're so right. You're so smart. You're so much more informed than I am. Why don't you just do it? Tim, come on. Do you want to accept the deal or not? This is a yes or no thing. Tim, we're all waiting on you. You think you're so smart. You think you're so informed. And in a weird way, I'm backing you up because I'm about to give away your money, a major aspect of socialism. Take money from people who've earned it and give it to everyone else. Tim, take the bet. Tim, we're all waiting on you. Yeah, show me where he said, as mayor, I will defund the police. No, now you're just changing it. Now, like, what? I have to find a verbatim sentence? A verbatim sentence of like that? No. You didn't say that at all. You said, show me where he said he wants to defund the police. And now you're adding on to it because you know you're wrong. Because you're cosplaying as some sort of political mind, some sort of political, I don't know, intellectual of our time. But in reality, you're actually just fucking retarded. Tim, not only will I show you where he said it, but I'm going to give you a challenge. Name me one time in the modern era or historically where socialism has ever worked. Name it. Name one time. At all. And now the market's open. Hang on. Let's go back to this. I don't want to take it. Tim, you're so smart. You're so good at this. All these stupid little fucking socialists in here. You guys, it is such a ignorant take on history. It's such an egotistical view of like, no, but this time it's going to be different. But this time it's going to be different. The fuck it is. You guys are like, Tim, you're actually fucking retarded. Like, actually, it's sad that people like you get to vote because you hit the bottle a little too hard. I don't know if your mom dropped you as a child. I don't know what's going on. But brutal. Absolutely brutal. It's crazy that your vote counts the same as mine. Like, there should be some sort of like intellect skew when voting. Hang on. I do want to do a trade out of the gate. Let me switch this. Money, defund police. Hang on. Someone actually put it nicely together. All right, let's read this. No. We want to defund the police. Well, that probably doesn't mean we want it. The New York PD is not under full civilian control. No matter who the law says is technically in charge, city government has abdicated oversight, funneling them as many resources and little accountability as they demand. We need to elect a socialist city council to defund the New York. You know, Tim, I get that you're stupid and all, and technically, he didn't say, as mayor, I will do this. But he's saying we need to elect a socialist city council to defund the New York Police Department. So, like, I get that he doesn't have the word mayor in there, but he is literally saying we need to elect someone to do it, and then he is now trying to be mayor. So, like, I know that this might be, like, a bit of an intellectual jump for you. I know that it might be. I know. We don't need an investigation to know that our New York City Police Department is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. What we need is to defund the New York City Police Department. I don't know, man. He probably likes the cops. He probably likes the cops. You're right. I'm probably just like misinterpreting what he's saying. Here I am just like slightly confused. Good old Matt doesn't know what he's talking about. Jesus Christ. The fact that anyone falls for this shit, I guess it makes sense. I guess we get what we deserve. Tim, are you going to send that money today? Or he's going to back out of the bet now, isn't he? Typical fucking pussy socialist. Typical. NVDA Ooh, Tesla's actually catching a bid today. New York City is so gross. It is. It definitely needs to be improved. Tim, why'd you go so quiet? I just thought he liked socialism. I thought, hang on. Tim, where'd you go? I was going to give away your money for you. Because I obviously, like the government, know how to use your money better than you do. Where is he? We lost Tim this early in the day. This guy seriously woke that he wants to defund the crime will go through the roof, off the charts. Yeah, because only fucking retards would actually ever utter the words defund the police. I guarantee you these are the exact same giant fucking pussies that if anything went wrong, they're like the Karens calling 911. I guarantee it, dude. Yeah, we lost him. We lost him. Sorry, guys. I was going to give away his money to you. I was going to give away all of his money to you. And we can't now. Man.
Order submitted.
All right, I'm going to leave that there and see how things cook. God, these people are so fucking dumb. It's like, this isn't even like you have to do some sort of like insane study of history. Truly. Like, just look at what's going on in San Francisco. Look at what's going on in London. Let's look at any... is this about to hit? I'm trying to take a trade here.
Order submitted.
Did it trade on all of them? It did. What am I at? 45. 45. How do I want to do this one? 65. I could leave that there. 65. 45. 445. All right. We'll let it ride. We'll see how this one goes. Palantir pop. Technically a new all-time high there on Palantir. I believe it's a new all-time high at one. Nope. Never mind. I didn't realize we got up to 147. I thought it was $1 less. But Palantir almost at a new all-time high. Tesla finally taking a breather from selling off for the past 2 days. A little bit of green. I don't like this. Post office and the VA socialist. So is Sweden. Well, of course you have socialist aspects, such as a fire department, such as your police department. Like, that doesn't mean you have a socialist-based like economy. There are going to be socialist things. I don't think anyone who is like intelligently against socialism is saying, yeah, no, like, let's get rid of all the cops. Like, there should be no government things at all. No, I agree that there's a time and a place for government, but it should be limited and remain small. I mean, I fully agree that there's government programs like, I don't know, welfare or giving kids food. Like, I would never argue against those things. If anything, I think as having the most developed economy, I think any good moral society does take care of its weakest. But that doesn't mean you pop off and say stupid fucking things like defund the police. That doesn't mean you are in full control of housing. That doesn't, like, there's so many other things that come with it. So, and I've never really, I guess, heard an interesting conversation or an intellectual conversation from someone who's actually tried to say, no, like, no socialist aspects, like, whatsoever. Like, that would also inherently be that would be a really stupid point. Tim the Welcher skipped out, but Pickle is correct in his lead. My share toward the payoff of the giveaway. Oh wait, I missed these. Sorry. Post office and VA is socialist. Yeah, post office. Tim, now you only need to give Matt $9.90. Tim's never gonna pay up. He's a pussy, dude. Social programs are not the same as socialism. Exactly. And unfortunately, have left the world of nuance where that type of stuff matters. But yes, you are 100% correct. Social programs does not mean that we are fully embracing socialism. There are programs that are meant for the betterment of your local society. And I'm of the opinion that even though I'm a hardcore capitalist through and through, I could admit there's good things to socialism, such as whatever, post office, the cops, firemen, whatever, food programs for kids who are going hungry. That's all good stuff. And even though I'm a hardcore capitalist through and through, I would admit that certain times with capitalism, unregulated capitalism, it could lead to whatever, pollution, deforestation, monopolies. Like there are certain things that technically, if like a purely capitalistic society wouldn't have regulations and regulators. So like you can be a fan of one economic style and still admit that it's not perfect. I don't think there's any perfect economic or societal model, but there are ones that have less downfalls. Like that's the name of the game. If you're seeking perfection and saying, hang on, I could find one downfall of capitalism and thus I don't like it. Well, fucking me too. But I could also find downfalls of whatever, socialism, fascism, all this stuff. You can find like issues. So this idea of people like, but I found a problem here. Like, what are you talking about? The goal is to get as close to the best model as we possibly can. The idea of humans are fucked up and they're going to take advantages of no matter what the system is around them. And that's just like an aspect of the fact that we are in a society where people do what they want. People care more about rich people not being rich than poor people not being poor. Essence of socialism. Yeah. Socialism, one of the core tenets among many other things, is like this whole wealth, this wealth gap. And that's such a fascinating thing to be just like so stubborn on. I truly don't understand it. Like you can have no wealth gap and everyone could just be equally poor. Why would that be a good thing? Maybe there is a time and a place to focus on the inequality gap, but shouldn't we all care more about how our poorest people in society are doing and the rate at which they are ideally gaining wealth? I swear, there are people who take this like socialistic stance and they would rather everyone be equally poor and we take care of the wealth gap rather than just we increase the rate of our poorest in society gaining wealth. The metric that people love to dive into there, it truly blows my fucking mind. Truly blows my fucking mind. And you hear that time and time again. Bernie Sanders was just on with Joe Rogan, and all he kept going on about was the wealth gap, of how the wealth are just getting wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. It's like, that's not the interesting metric. The interesting metric is how are our weakest and our most vulnerable in our society doing? We should always be looking at that weakest link, and our year over year, are they improving? Month over month, are they improving? What can we do to accelerate the quality of their life? And people just are inherently pissed off that the wealth are making more money. Like it makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. Poor, they just need to YOLO options. Good way to probably most likely become more poor. Thus far, the SPY has done nothing, pretty much right at its opening value. SPY sideways, Q's taking a wee bit of a hit. 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 30 minute, 4 hour. So across the board on the S&P 500, it's bullish. Unfortunately, the Nasdaq, the 5 minute is clearly bearish. The 10 minute broke down on the opening. 30 minute is at an interesting potential bounce point right here at 22,500. Not only is that the 50 EMA, but it's also that massive technical, psychological level. And then the 4 hours also bullish. So in the short term on tech, we are clearly seeing some weakness. We're seeing a little bit more strength on the overall market. So the question here is, who's going to be right? Who's going to hold out a bit better? Here, let me show you the flow thus far this morning. We had some clear call buying, longer duration, not zero DTE calls on the SPY, but longer duration delta popping. So someone across the board was buying calls, and then looking at the Mag 7, I would assume profit taking. You have, This isn't people getting into puts. So is the delta dropping? Yes, obviously. But no one's touching puts on the Mag 7. They're taking their profits. Calls are getting sold. So they're either taking profits or they're selling calls above saying the run's over and they're looking to collect some premium. Regardless, that is removing positive delta from the system. No one is really touching the negative delta side of things. So that's probably why we're seeing a wee bit of a sell-off here in the queues of just calls getting sold, removing positive delta, but it seems to be tech specific because the SPY is really not moving that much. In fact, the SPY is trying to hold up pretty decently well. Wall Street panics over prospect of socialists running New York City, Democratic socialist stunning primary winners right in the financial industry. The issue is that Andrew Cuomo himself is a fuckhead. So it's just like one dipshit beat out another dipshit. It wasn't like we had some sort of like high quality secondary option. The two leading people were a socialist and Andrew Cuomo, who had to step down disgraced as governor because of he was touching too much ass in the office. So like, how did he get there? Well, you had an uninformed Gen Z who, whenever they hear free shit, they're like, cool, I like free shit. And then the other option was like literally a disgraced governor. So how do you get there? Andrew Cuomo is the reason that this has occurred. Yeah. If the Democrats had put up any reasonable candidate whatsoever, this would have never happened. The issue is that the other guy who had a shot at winning this literally had to step down as governor in 22 or 23. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So like, I get how it happened. You put a bunch of uninformed people up and promise them free things, and then you say, hey, if you don't vote for me, you're just voting for a dude who grabs ass in the office. Like, Jesus, like, I see how it happens. Like, I totally see how it happens. It's just obviously fucking crazy. Oh, all right. How are we looking? Mag 7, hopefully bottom there at 943. The SPY is starting to pick up. I do need to try to get 2 of these accounts passed. See, these are funded. So I lost all my Apex accounts yesterday, and in an attempt to get them back, for some reason, only 18 of them traded. So that's why I have 2 Apex and then 18 PA Apex. So 18 got funded. 2 of them did. Whoa, Jesus. 2 of them did not. So I'm kind of paying attention to like if there's an Why did we just get smashed at this? That's not good. That's not good whatsoever. But I am, at some point I should probably trade these. Do I just try to play this bounce? Do you think we're going to bounce here? I wouldn't even need it to bounce that much. I mean, it's just, this is pure luck. This is pure ripping it. Pure unadulterated luck. If I just rip it. Fuck it.
Order submitted.
All right. We're either going to get these passed or we're not. I'm just trading these top 2 up here. And I just needed to pop all the way up, and then those 2 will be passed, and then they'll be normal funded tomorrow if I can pass it. But what's my reasoning here? Nothing. Just pure ripping it. Just pure ripping it. That's my thought process. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You can do it. You can do it. Maybe, I guess maybe some of the thought is just to bounce off this key level of support. It's pretty much a 50-50 guess when you do this. Like I said, literally just ripping it. I'm not here for some sort of deeply complicated trading system or something like that. This is YOLO degeneracy, like just looking for a pop back up to get 3K in profit on 2 of these accounts. That's my reasoning. Come on. And it's not looking good at all. Maybe I should have waited. Maybe I should have had the sitting order exactly.
Order submitted.
Yeah, that tested up. Generally, when I do this, and I have a video on it, I only had 2 accounts. Generally, I double up. Like if I'm trying to pass 2, I'll buy 4 and I'll go long 2 and short 2 and then ride it that way. But this morning, before I knew it, I was running out of time and I only could quickly buy 2. But if you're curious about that strategy, the 50-50 strategy, which I didn't even just use it, I was just hoping that I picked the right direction. But if you're curious about that 50-50 strategy, I do have a video on it. So right there, basically what happened was these 2 right here, I'm trying to pass 2. So how many of them I'm trying to pass, I double it up. And then simultaneously on half of them, I go long, half of them I go short. And I just pray that there's enough of like one clear linear movement that half of them hit and cool. And I move on with my life. Now, I want to be clear. If you are doing that on a PA account, you're not going to get a payout. You can only use that methodology to pass the test. Just that. If they catch you doing that with a PA account, they'll never approve your payout. They will never, ever approve your payout. So there's like very specific rules against going long and going short on the same product in 2 different accounts and just looking for half to hit. So for whatever reason, well, we all know why, they allow you to do that in the eval stage. And basically it's a quick way just to shove some of these accounts across the finish line. But if I just want to be very, very clear, and there's a video on it if you need a better, I guess, breakdown of it. But if they catch you doing that on a funded account, like literally it's as simple as the fact they're never going to pay you out. So if you choose to engage in it, and it is time efficient, it's not financially efficient. So once again, time efficient, not financially efficient. If you choose to do it, do not do it in performance. I don't want anyone watching this and be like, hey, I just did it in PA and like half of mine got money and they deny my payout. I'm telling you right now, they're going to deny your payout. The exclusive time you could do that is for performance, or for eval to go to performance. Are we going to find support here at 542? I am not liking this trend at all. But will they accept to hit the $25,000 drawback? I have no idea what you're asking. Does anyone understand what that means? I don't get this question. But will they accept to hit the $2,500 drop? I don't get that question. Can anyone else, I guess, reword that for me where I have at least a better chance of understanding it? Why would you be able to pass an eval with something they won't pay out on? That's gay. No, it's basic math, because if you did that, you could perpetually game the system. Every single highly volatile event, you could go long half, short half, and you're guaranteed money, and that would overcome the fees. So it's just not like real trading. It's literally gaming the system. I mean, literally think about that for like 1 second. Matt, you have zero edge in the market, still you act like a guru. Stop taking FOMO entries with absurd risk management. You know that I'm up hundreds of thousands of dollars this year. Over multiple months, if someone is up hundreds of thousands of dollars, do you really think they have no edge? Is that, you just think I'm like the luckiest person in the world? That's your argument? Is that, nope, Matt is time and time again, he's just that lucky. Like, do you really think that makes sense? I mean, I wish I were that lucky. That would make my life so much easier if I truly could just go through this without any knowledge of anything ever. And then just be like, nope, pure luck, and just make money. Damn, I truly wish it were just unlimited luck, just luck, and didn't have to worry about skill ever. Didn't have to worry about it. Fuck, man. You get these comments whenever you're in the finance space and you stream like this and you make money. People are like, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. Cool. I guess that's it. I mean, when you have the PA fresh, you have a very limited amount to lose. That's true with the eval. So what if you have 10 PAs and then you put 5 at max contract and they go up and 5 go down with half and half? I'm literally telling you, if you do that, they'll never pay you out. If you're doing one trade in a PA account and the opposite trade in a different PA account, they're not going to pay you out. It's in violation of their rules. That's literally what I've been trying to tell you. And this other guy who says I have zero edge, I would actually contest that there's no other finance content creator that talks about Edge and develops Edge and dives into the statistics of Edge more than I do. Actually, there is one guy in the crypto space I could think of, but beyond him, which you guys probably haven't heard of him, but beyond him, I don't think there's a single content creator who drives home the concept of Edge, finding Edge, systematic value or systematic trading, positive expected value, and does as much research in developing Edge as I do. It'd be funny if I was like generically in the middle of the pack of like, nah, whatever. Like, dude, literally my background is computer science and statistics. You're literally talking to the person who is like the top of it in the world of content creation. But there's one more. There's one guy in crypto who he's doing some pretty cool stuff with AI and machine learning to develop trading strategies. Do you still have or use Ortex? Yeah. DB, you shouldn't be just tracing high short plays, but it's easier to track all that info down on Spot Gamma. Here, someone's just asking for flow. We tipped at 945 on the S&P 500, and since then, some clear profit taking, and maybe we're bouncing. The Mag 7 bleeding off until about 952, finding a wee bit of a pop right now. Longest hedge streak. Do more common strats not work on prop firms because of the rules? Like, I do understand how one day can't be 30% of my gains, and if I lose 2 days and win one with static TPS and stops, do I not get paid? I don't know what you mean by the second part. If I lose 2 days and win one, I don't know what you mean by that part at all. Any chance of an all-time high on SPY? Yeah, of course there's a chance of it. A better question is, what is that chance? Not just, is there a chance? Yeah, of course it's non-zero chance that we hit a new all-time high today. Anyone got spot grandma? Why is that? I haven't heard anyone call it that. That one's a good one. Where did Tim go? Did Tim leave? Is he going to pay up? He's still here. You going to pay? Tim never left. He's still here lurking. I can't believe this motherfucker's sitting around and he's not paying. Folks, he's cheated you guys out of $1,000. I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that. Okay. ES, the 5-minute did break down here at 9:45, but it is battling right out. It's pretty much the EMA lines are sideways. The 10-minute attempting to save itself. The 30-minute still bullish. The 4-hour still bullish. The 5-minute on the Nasdaq clearly bearish. The 10-minute actually now clearly bearish. I'd like it to recapture 534. It would be a nice recapture there. And the 30-minute ideally bouncing off its 50 EMA on the 30-minute, and the 4-hour still clearly bullish. I can't believe that guy you guys are letting him get away with this. Tim, he owes you guys money. That he does. That he does. Tracks. He was waiting for someone to make the first 1,000 so he could take it. I guess. I don't know. It's kind of messed up that he's backing out on this bet. All right, the 5-minute's trying to recapture here on ES, so maybe back to being bullish on all 4 time frames. The Nasdaq has some room to go. Obviously, it would be a big win to take out 33, 34, this recent 10-minute high, but it would be better to take out 52, kind of this shelf, and it would be back on the north side of this EMA. So I'm looking for a recapture on the 5-minute and the 10-minute on NQ, while ES is attempting to pull that off literally as we speak. Here's a look at the Mag 7, big dip until 951, decent recovery since then. The SPY also recovery, just not as impressive as the Mag 7, but basically since 950 we are seeing actually quite a few calls being bought on the Mag 7, and a little bit of calls being bought on the SPY. But yeah, right here, look at that call swing around. All right, the bulls have entered the chat. Unlike Tim, who has not left the chat, even though he owes us money. Fucking Tim. Typical Tim. What a guy, you know? It doesn't even make sense. VIX is still sliding, bullish sign as it's just above 60. Yeah, VIX is getting crushed, but it also inherently means that like the range will most likely be small in the day. The IV on the day is not much. Defund Tim. Scott has the right idea. Defund Tim. Tim probably also wants to bring back DEI. Well, it's probably the only way he could get hired, the DEI initiative to like employ dipshits. Where do you think Palantir is going in the short term? I hope up, because I have calls on it, but I'm betting on up. Let me check one thing here. All right. Enhance. All right. So there are more fresh highs than there are lows. And this is not reading at the highest value. Slightly bullish. Let's check this out. The 500 tick just triggered long. Actually, so did that.
Order filled.
Well, that took forever to get the fill. Exit. 35. Hang on. We're trading on a couple accounts this morning. I just want to look at what that is. What are my breakdown levels? 32. And that one's about to trigger. Let me zoom in on this. Let me look at that pop. Yeah, no edge, just pure luck, guys. If you are coming to the show expecting me to know the math of the stock market and identifying positive expected value trades, please understand that I do not have that. It is nothing but pure luck. Nothing but pure. I'm telling you this right now to your faces. I have no clue what I'm doing. No clue what I'm doing. Just nothing but luck. Nothing but luck. This is a luck-based show. If you don't have luck, I would suggest you don't trade. Where was that guy? I can't even make fun of him because he had a stupid name, Michael Saylor. Dumb fucking name. I'm not the biggest fan of that rejection, if I'm being completely honest. If I'm being completely honest. What did I get a fill at on this? On this one? On this one? 67. Why does this not look? Oh, there we go. That looks better. We trade with feelings. It's exclusively how I trade. If you're not trading on vibes, what are you trading on? China's something undercuts Tesla with yet another cheaper car. Well, hopefully Tesla could one of these days put in a green day. It is green right now. In Palantir's the most green, even though it's dipping a little bit. Avago's looking good. NVDA has a nice recovery. Tesla's just consolidating. Netflix is pippity popping off. I am proud to say that I do have Netflix calls right now. NASDAQ, new all-time high? Yes, NASDAQ just hit a new all-time high. Remember that guy yesterday telling you should be bearish? That was funny, right? That was there for a good laugh when we were told we should be bearish. And he's like, I knew it. I knew today was going to be a bearish day. I knew it. I knew it. Kind of reminds me of, what's that SNL skit? The Californians? I knew it. Rebecca. Meta's popping off. Netflix is popping off. Palantir has looked better. Avago's popping off. NVIDIA's now popping off. Tesla's consolidated. Dude, netty Netflix. We might be talking about 1,300 today. People think Matt can predict the stock market. That's pretty... Oh, I do. I just refuse to tell you guys where it's going. But make no mistake about it. I can predict the stock market. Matt called me out directly yesterday, but I held my bearish bet and won. I doubt it. The market ended green. You realize that, right? Coin's been on a ripper. Someone just called out Coin. I was looking at that yesterday. Dude, Coin, look at this. Coin was at 252 as of Wednesday, June the 18th. We're now at 372. It's gained $120. It is up 40. This thing is going haywire. I missed it. I'm upset I missed it. Dude, Coin. Oh wait, technically not a new all-time high. That was a rough IPO. Oh Jesus. Anyway, at least nice technical. Like, this is just crazy. This has been like the craziest week and a half of trading in Coin's life. I hope some of you guys got it. I missed it. I didn't even realize it was doing it. We were talking about it in the Discord yesterday, and it's just going absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. All right, we're at the next key level here on SPX. If this doesn't break out, I'm probably going to have to get out of my position. You see how we ripped right up to it? This is just a key open interest level of the day, a key battle of the day. If it does break out, we have that shot of grinding all the way up to the all-time high at 6,147. There's a big open interest level at 6,150. So this would be the zone. But this, I mean, all I can tell you is we're at resistance right now. Will it break or bust? I don't know. Actually, on that note, I should probably put my stop to break even. If I weren't being an asshole, I would probably do that. Yeah, just a decent chance of some profit take. But Mag 7's now going. The SPY popped. Ugh. How much of a drawback is this really going to be? How are people going to react to it? Yeah, we went right up. The equivalent is roughly the high 609s on SPY, so we ripped right up to it. And now a bit of consolidation. Ugh. If this gets rejected, even if it's a 50% pullback, all them be in the red. Do I want to risk it? Do I really want to risk it for the breakout? Do I want to risk it for the biscuit? How confident am I in said breakout? It's 10:06. Matt's out here helping retail traders make more money than they have prior to learning from him, and they're all still haters out there taking shots. Well, it's the internet. That's just gonna perpetually be an aspect of the internet. The crazy thing about the internet is people with all levels of intellect are technically allowed on it. NVIDIA intraday high, all-time high, taking a bit of a breather right there. Yep, we're getting a bit of a smack out the SPY. Surprise, surprise, right at the key open interest level. And when I say that, I mean that no one should be surprised whatsoever, because it is, in fact, a key open interest level. And when people go from out of the money to in the money, they tend to want to collect their profits. It's just a psychology thing. And then also, when the delta is rising, and at that point, when it's at the money, it's going to be 50-50. It does also functionally change how market makers have to hedge out their books. So you're seeing a little bit of that as well. And then when you have that in conjunction with profit taking, well, this is why it very quickly becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy at resistance. So I don't think anyone should be surprised about it. It just is what it is. This is a part of the game. And the more you understand options and the flow of options, and then also identifying these key levels, such as 6,120 right here, this call spike, and then also 6,150 would be next. But right here, 2025, there's a lot of volume being traded right here. A lot of volume, net call selling, net put selling as of right now. So yeah, it's always going to be beneficial. I would vehemently argue that it's always going to be beneficial to you in your trading career to know where the big guys are positioned. I would very much argue that. Well, I'm back to break even. Not on this account, on these accounts. Okay, where are we at? Where are we at? Break even. Hopefully this is the higher low, and then I could just move my risk to there. But this is the pain in the ass part of trading these accounts. This truly is it's based on your unrealized high. So my drawdown rule of 2.5K is based on 22,572, not on like where I nominally get out. So if you go up 2K and then get out for break even, you only have $500 of buffer left on a 50K account. It's always based on like if you got out at your theoretically perfect level. Eventually that stops. That stops when your nominal account value gets over the buffer. But when you're first trying to grow it, it's by far the most difficult. Fresh accounts in the world of SIM funded trading by far are the most difficult to trade because you just have the most rules going against you. You have the most constraints that you have to consider. As your account grows and grows and grows, it gets easier because you have more leeway. You have a longer leash. You can take larger swings, which means you could take advantage of better opportunity. While when you have a new account, and especially an account that's below the buffer, whatever that buffer is for your account. On these ones, it's 2,500. As long as your account value is below it, you have to consider other things that I would actually argue do not necessarily make you force you to make good decisions. Sometimes it forces you to take on more risk than you really mathematically should be. And obviously this is only an issue with SIM funded trading. If you have your own funded account, it truly doesn't matter at all. But it is a consideration. So for anyone who is having issues with SIM funded, please understand when you first start the accounts, that is by far the most difficult. Do you have a short-term target on up? What? I don't know. Do you have a short-term target on up on Palantir? What the fuck is target on up on Palantir? Up on Palantir. Do I have a short-term target on up on Palantir? I think what you mean to say is, do I just have a target to the upside? I don't know what the fuck target on up on Palantir means. I'm assuming you're asking just like, what's my upside target? And it changes. It changes on the where all the big players are and the options movement. That has not updated at all. Definitely some choppy bullshit right now. But that actually looks somewhat decent. I could use 36. I could use this recent low. Oh, I would love this follow through. I really want right here, this 1008 low to be the higher low and just use this as my main focal point for the day. NVIDIA is looking good. People are saying Tesla. It's consolidating. Let me know if Tesla gets above 329.50, above 330. That would be a nice intraday technical breakout. Vago's looking good. Palantir, it's very green on the day, but intraday it's getting hit since 9:45. Netflix running into some issues at 1,295. I would assume that there's going to be a considerable reaction at 1,300. Meta slowly climbing higher and higher and higher. It blows my mind that people think somehow voting for a socialist is a good idea. I get that there's dumb people in this world. I get that people say dumb things. I've said dumb things. But people legitimately to their core think socialism could work. It's the most fucking insane thing ever. It's mind-numbing that we've tried it countless times throughout history. And it's never worked. And then they're like, but this time it's different, man. But this time it's different. Any thoughts on Tesla? Yeah, I just said it. You have to wait for it to get above and hold above 330. They never read a history book. They didn't even do a 5-second research on it. Bro, why are you so political? I don't know, because I can be. in America we have free speech. I don't know, Evan. Wait, Evan, are you asking why I'm political? Because you're a dipshit socialist? That's the interesting thing. You never really assume that you're going to be getting socialists in a finance streaming show, because I assume that you're here to make money for yourself, not for you to make money and then what, give it away to like a bloated government. I'm actually like thoroughly surprised how many socialist supporting people we have in here, because I assume you're here trying to make money for you and your family and improve your life. I assumed you weren't in here to make money to then give it away to dipshit programs. That's respectfully, Matt, when you refer to as socialism, most people in the world understand is priorities that take into account basic decency. Well, that's also not what socialism is. That's not my fault that they don't understand the definition of a word. When did I ever say I wasn't in support of basic human necessities? I even made the case that there is a point in time for socialist programs such as firemen, such as the police department, such as what's it like, the No Kid Goes Hungry, like that type of stuff. But it's not my fault that people have an interpretation that is not literally the definition of the word. Like I would argue that's on them. What time is it? 10:14. Has this really upticked enough? Bullish, 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 bullish. NQs are leaving a little bit to be desired. The Nasdaq is. The 5-minute is like, it's fighting with all of its heart right here to hold on top of this EMA cloud. 30-minute had a beautiful bounce. The 4-hour also holding strong. The 5-minute, it popped. It's just trying to hang out here, trying to find some support on top of these EMAs, and same with the 10. The S&P 500 is looking better, and it's just, hang on, coming back to this. Yeah, the Mag 7 had a beautiful rip starting at 951 to 1005. A little bit of a dip, a second rip. Now just almost like a form of consolidation. Meta's looking great. NVIDIA's also looking solid. Avago's looking good. Palantir, profit takers. Netflix is looking good. Meta's looking so good. Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA. How is Coin looking right now? Coin's looking really good too. Geez, Coin's looking actually awesome. So much opportunity. So much opportunity. Wow, Meta's just taken off. Man, I have Meta calls too, and they're not doing as well as you think they would be. Not doing as well as you think they would be. Here's my net situation. On Meta, I'm up 5K. On Netflix, I'm up 5K. On a different Netflix play, I'm up 300. On Palantir, I'm up 2K. On the Nasdaq, I'm up 21K. And on the SPY, I'm up 14K. And then I have a Tesla bull put spread that is currently down 6K, but I'm not really too worried about that. So, I mean, the best plays are the SPY and the Q calls, which together are up about 35,000. And then you pepper in Meta and Palantir, and then that's just over 40K. And then Netflix basically cancels out Tesla. So I'm up about 40K in my current swing positions, which is a nice fucking change of pace for me. The past couple weeks, it's just been so choppy and no nice follow through. Whenever you see a daily chart that looks like this right here, this choppiness where we went up, had a red day. All right, wait, we take out the lows, we take out the highs, we take out the lows, we take out the highs, we take out the lows, we take out the highs. This period is by far when my system just goes to shit. All these just breakdown, breakout, breakdown, breakout, breakdown, breakout. Like this choppiness, it worked basically up until the 11th. So your boy's been on a rough one for the past 2 weeks. This type of stuff my system does when we have nice trending markets, kind of like we have right now. My system does well. This shit though, where like we made a high, but it was a red day, and then we take out that low, and then take out the high, and then we take out the low, and then we take out the high, but then we take out the low, and then we take out that, like, that's when I just get chopped to all fuck. Like that is by far the worst period for my system. And that's exactly how my account gave 20% back over the past like 2 weeks, I would say. Also, being a capitalist who likes to make money is not in opposition to thinking everyone should make a living wage and drink clean water. Both things can be true at once. It's a matter of respect. Well, that's not socialism. And also, I don't think, like, it's so funny of this, like, argument of, like, hang on, the world should be better. We have all these capabilities. Why don't we help more people? You realize that we're at the advanced technological feats that we are because of capitalism. Like, if we always had this idea of, like, nope, everyone's, like, just, like, if we're always just giving away money and you're not letting people who have this extra drive to do better, the amount of things we can do now is because of capitalism. The amount of charity because of all these developments that we can do, the amount of medicine that we have, pretty much every useful fucking thing going on in this world is because of capitalism. Like, I'm not saying that we don't help, but like, what a weird thing, like, oh, like, because you don't respect, like, this, it's a matter of respect. Dude, if we always ran it that way, we would just not have the very, very powerful economy that we have now, the very powerful society we have now. We would be hundreds of years behind if we just let the government run this. Like, so far behind. Correct. You keep categorizing such things as socialism. When did I ever categorize that as socialism? When did I say helping people is socialism? Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Folks, it's pretty much simple. I want a small, limited government. It's that, like, whenever you have any side saying, no, the government needs more power because we're so smart, we're so great, we know exactly what's going on. There is no majorly run socialist nation or country that's ever worked out. Look at what's going on in San Francisco. Look at what's going on in London. Look at what's happened in Cuba. Look at what's happened in Venezuela. Does anyone ever wonder why all of the people in socialist run countries want to leave and come here? You will not talk to any person of a grandpa age who's come from a socialist country that was like, yeah, no, that's who we're going to vote for. Like, it's so, like, no one questions that. They're like, okay, so people with, like, actual human experience in these countries, you ever wonder why that population will never vote for anyone anywhere close? Like, literally, as soon as there is a hint of it, they're like, nope, fuck off, because they've lived through it. The only time that these people will do it is it's all these people like cosplaying and virtue signaling of like, look how good I am. I'm voting to help everyone. Like it's a social credibility vote, or in their perception it is. In reality, anyone with a brainstem just realizes that they're actually stupid. But it's just like it's this like savior complex, and it's always just like these fucking pussy white dudes or these like white Karen ladies who are like always just like popping off on that on their high horse of like, in a weird way, it actually comes across as like super, super racist because they always act as if it's like this white knight thing and it is their job to help everyone. And it like literally has absurd racist undertones, insane racist undertones. It it's crazy that in our developed society, this is the point we're at, and it just takes like 4 Google searches. 4 Google searches. There are def arguments for some tweaks to the capitalist system. Well, of course there are. Like, unfettered capitalism leads to monopolies. It leads to pollution. It leads to basically a kingmaker algorithm where the strongest people, once it's a race to the initial top, and then from there they can stomp out all competition. So, like, yes, capitalism has its issues. I would never ever say that it is absolutely perfect. It is not. It's just the best system that we have. But I would there's not a better system. No one could come up with an argument of a better system than capitalism. And I'm not here to say it's perfect. I could probably list as many downfalls of capitalism as you could, but yet it is still the best one. Stop acting like it's a free market. It's the closest thing to a free market. An unfettered free market would also have its own issues. Like, I don't know, fucking slavery. Like, yeah, bad shit can happen. You can destroy land. Like, there's clearly the extremes of any of these things can be very, very bad. Very, very bad. Norway is almost perfect. It is not. And also this whole Norway, Denmark, Finland thing, you guys realize they can only pull that off because it's a very small, homogenous population. They do not have multiculturalism there, and they are very, very small. And it also helps with a place like Norway when they're sitting on massive oil reserves, that when you have a giant sovereign wealth fund and you're distributing the profits of your resources to a very small population, it's easier to pull it off. If you could wave a magic wand and enact the exact same system that you see in Denmark, Norway, Finland, in the US, it would actually be disastrous. The money situation is different per capita. Just literally the amount of people, the multiculturalism, like, it is. They have a very small, extremely white population, and what they do there, you could not just like blanketly copy and paste it to other countries in the world. Large national wealth, small population, easy to govern. Exactly. 100%. And even on that, like, that's somewhat of a decent example, but then still ask yourself, why do they come here to use our education system? Like, on a global scale, why does everyone want to come here for our universities and our colleges? So, like, even that, this idea of like, no, but like, it's perfect. It's not. Ask yourself why in places like Canada, where allegedly they have better healthcare, why do they all come to the US for their surgeries? Why do they come here to use our doctors, but then yet try to tell us that their healthcare system is so much better? Oregon is almost communist. It sucks here so bad. I mean, Portland, the pictures and the stories you hear of it are fucking horrific, dude. It is like actually scary how bad it is. All right, we might be getting that breakout. I might be getting lucky. 6,120. I'm hoping that this can hold. We ran right up to the key level. We dipped. There's a beautiful buy here at 10.12. Riding it up. At this point, you could set your stop to break even and just see if you have a fish on the lure. See if you can ride this one up as high as it'll go. And if you think it's going to start to break down, if you start to see some fresh lows, right here we have a low at 10.09. Right here we have a low at 10.19. This trade, if you went long at 10.12, that was a very disciplined, patient trade. You waited for some sort of range to be created. You waited for a higher low. You waited for the breakout with minimal risk, and you're playing it back up into a key level. At this point, you got fortunate that it was a breakup, but at that point anyway, it didn't matter because you put your stop to break even, and now you're riding it. Like that's actually a beautiful play. That really was. If you went long somewhere between 10.11 and 10.13 with this being your risk and your stop is now break even, that's most likely going to be the play of the day. Our healthcare is free, but America has better services. Wait a second. So you're telling me that when it's not free, it's somehow better? It's almost as if they're using the money to improve the services. I've never heard of a business model like that. I'm going to have to get back to you. I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. So when it's free, the services are shitty because the government is the government and doesn't know how to run a business. But when it's not free and it's a private industry, there's natural competition that forces it to be better. I don't know about that one. This is the first time I'm hearing it. This is the first time I'm hearing it. Like fucking what, dude? No way. Are businesses using their profits to reinvest to be more competitive in their local business landscape? Wait, you're telling me that when the government takes over a particular industry, there's no more natural competition and thus no natural drive to improve? No. No, I disagree. I think DMVs have been getting better. I think DMVs, let's use the case study of a DMV, your Department of Motor Vehicles. Every single time I go, year after year after year, I'm always shocked by the amount of improvements in efficiency, quality, communication, actual employees. I think I'm going to take the socialist communist argument on this one, and I think people just naturally want to work for no incentives. I think they just want to keep improving and improving and improving with no carrot at the end of the stick. Matt, make a compilation video showing how stupid chat is. There's a couple stupid people. I think most people in here are pretty smart, but it's odd that the dumb people want to seemingly talk the most. Look at airlines. There are only like 4 or 5. Well, I'd actually argue that it's a duopoly, Airbus and Boeing, and I'm not a fan of that. I think there should be, and even that, there's a strong argument that Boeing's only still around because of government contracts. But at that point, if Boeing went under, it would be like a legit national security issue, so they're not going to let it go under. Bullish, 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 bullish. Not that far from the all-time high. Oops. We only have 0.36%. Whoa, on that pop. On that pop, 0.31% to go, folks. 0.31. How's this doing? I was trading some minis on a personal account just because I can for the lulz. These are 2 minis. They're not micros. They are micros. They're not minis. Excuse me. I got it backwards. At this point, I should be setting that stop to break even. All right. So these ones are just running to run. I don't even know what I'm like necessarily targeting. I just kind of have them in there. But these are micro. I'm trading 2 micros, MNQ. But then obviously over on these accounts, I'm looking pretty good up. Wait, where's that guy? Oh, he's still in here. Oh, Michael Saylor. I have a feeling that it's not the real Michael Saylor. Dude, you're right. This is all luck, no edge. That's how I trade, in fact. That's like the calling card of my trading system. All luck, no edge. Oh, at this point, I can't let it come down that much because of that differential between the unrealized. My worry, though, is that it's going to run into an issue here at 600. How far back do I really think it could get knocked? how far back do I just want to take this money? It's a decent start. But what if this really does rip all the way up? But what if? But what freaking if? You know? Hey man, I just want to let you know that I do respect you and agree with your political opinion. It's just annoying to start every day with you bashing other people. Evan, I still think you're just a pussy. The beauty about this is I make my money from trading and for content. If you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't, I don't give a fuck, dude. I really don't give a shit, dude. My money is on trading. If you watch this, if you don't watch it, I give away free content that I would argue in the guru furu space is the most accurate, the most mathematically backed. I would put my content up against anyone's in terms of actual use for useful information when trading. I don't give a fuck. Like, I just, dude, I could give a shit about it. But I do probably have to manage this. How far? 45. So 600. Don't want to guarantee 600. Also, quick note there, bashing other people as if it's a bad thing. Some people are retarded. Like, what? Like, why are we saying that as it's a bad thing? I think many people, especially in the trading space, deserve to be bashed because, folks, remember, you are playing a game where 95% lose. So if you think this is like a holding hand, like singing Kumbaya and everyone's great and everyone's opinion is equal and right, like, fuck, man. You're just not going to survive this game. You're just not. Bro's gonna be an angry rich guy on a yacht. You do you. Yeah, probably. Better than being a poor rich guy. What did they say in Wolf of Wall Street? I've been poor, I've been rich, and I take rich every single fucking time. Oh, now you did it. You said the R word. Wait, you guys are actually like referring to it as the R word, like verbatim? Like you think it's fucking Voldemort to say retarded? Damn, you guys must live in fucking the West Village near me or something. The R word. I cannot believe there's grown adults in here referring to it as the R word. Well, you might be good in West Village to act like that, but dude, if you were in fucking Staten Island, the R word, that's actually comical. the R word. Oh man. Fucking that's actually really funny. He said the R word. Yeah, some people are fucking retarded. Not my fault. I didn't raise them. Someone said Tesla. Oh, Tesla's getting hit. Are you saying Tesla because you're not? Oh, wait, it's not going anywhere right now. NVDA, new all-time high. Avago, probably a new all-time high. Palantir still getting hit, but up 0.5% on the day. Netflix ran almost up to 1,300, taking a bit of a breather. Meta looking good at 722. Remember, 720 is a big battle on Meta. 720 here. I could show this to you. Right. Go to Spot Gamma. Go to the Equity Club. Find Meta, and then you can see the gamma distribution. So last time we looked here, right here, 710 to 720. So 720 is a large negative gamma. So if it can overcome it, things actually might speed up all the way up to 735. But I just want to point out the size of this. And then also, you can see it's a bunch of long calls. So there is a chance that these players decide to capture the profits because they're going from out of the money to in the money. I don't know the expiration date on this particular play, and obviously that could have a big influence on it. Based on the size, it's most likely the July monthlies, but I do want to point that out, especially if you're playing meta right now of no surprise we're running into some issues right here because you're probably going to have some profit taking from these particular players. If you're watching Netflix, battling it out. We saw this level yesterday. If it can get above and close above 1290, we're at the peak of the Gamma Mountain, and then I'd be looking for a follow through to 1310. And then actually, where does the Gamma go negative? It doesn't, but it bottoms out all the way up here. So probably something to watch. 1290, 1300 itself is going to be a key psychological level, and then 1310 is another positive Gamma node from sold calls. What else are you guys playing right now? NVIDIA. NVIDIA's at a new all-time high. Looks like where is NVIDIA actually at? NVIDIA is trading at 156. 158 is the next evident sold calls. That's going to be a positive Gamma. And then if it can get above 158, you have something between 165 and 170, but 158 will probably be somewhat of a tough battle. So obviously pay attention to 158. If you're playing Palantir, just 143. That's like clearly the line in the sand. It's the peak. Yeah, that's a lot of sold calls at 143. Low vol point, yeah. So if it can go, that can get exciting because then it could potentially go up to 149. But this is going to be a big battle. You need the ball to like kind of start rolling down the hill. Oh, what else? While I'm here, what else? AMD. People are asking about AMD. AMD. Okay, AMD is going to have a tough time between 138 and 142. Where is it at? So it's just on top. So it's finding support, surprise, at 142. Why is 142 significant? Giant Gamma. Giant positive Gamma. So it fell back into it. So now it's running into this as support. So you want it to stay above 142. And if it can get going, you're talking 145 followed by 150. But yeah, no surprise that AMD found support at 142. It is a huge positive Gamma.
Order filled.
Order filled. I guess I just got out for break even on that. What the fuck is this fallback? Even this is about to hit too. I guess we're just not getting that follow through that I wanted. I wonder if I should just move this stop to break even. It's about to tag me out. Well,
Order
it just tagged me
canceled.
out. All right, I made about $350 per account. But I'm almost wondering if I should have just like risked it to risk it. Like, is there going to be that nice afternoon pop? Someone asked about Apple. It just needs to get above 205 to 207, somewhere in there, so it has a chance. Apple's been on a relative basis kind of weak. All right, 5 minute, 10 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute. That's a breakout on the 4 hour. That's a breakout on the 30 minute. Well, locked in about 350 times 20. Not bad. Not bad. These are just evals up here. You can see the difference. When it's a funded account, it starts with PA, and then these are. I'm just wondering. So that just knocked me out and already bounced 10 points. 600, so I only have 1,900 of drawback now. Yeah, literally fucking bottom ticked me out. God damn it. Is this the recovery? Mag 7 ripped until about 10:30, taking a small breather. Same thing with the SPY, ripped, taking a little bit of a breather. Joe Weedon. Oh, how deep of a pullback. I want to try to go long again. Here. Maybe I should have just taken it at $1,000. The old woulda, coulda, shoulda. The old woulda, coulda, shoulda coin is amazing. 3%. Yeah. Meta having a tough time at that 720. NVDA 158. Vago. Palantir's still getting hit. Netflix. Everything's now taking a little bit of a breather. So the question is can it, like, how deep of a pullback is this going to be? Maybe we pull all the way back to 6,120. Maybe we just get a dip buy off of here. Could be. Maybe the Qs want to retest the lows at whatever, 10:06, 10:15. Maybe we dip down to here, find some support. How deep? How deep? What else do we have? All right, so that trade was a break-even one. What I want to see is this. All right, that one actually, the 500 tick just broke down. That's getting positive, though, over here. Interesting. Very interesting. So the bulls are still in control from a momentum perspective. Yeah, it's just, I am interested in buying this dip. The question, though, is how deep is the dip going to be? I wouldn't mind the SPY coming down to 609.50. I really wouldn't even mind the Qs down to 543. It's just, when are people going to step in? The Mag 7's taking a bit of a hit. All right, that's taking a bit of a hit. EMA. Oh, golly, I need coffee. More coffee. Well, that's a pop. Is this the dip? Is this the dip to be bought? Yeah, it could come down. Someone's commenting VWAP. That's totally possible. Yeah, VWAP 22536. So that's not that much farther. ES is a little bit farther away because of how strong that push was this morning. A VWAP bounce, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind going long at VWAP. I don't necessarily know if the market's going to give it to us. It looks like some buyers are attempting to step in. But we'll see. We'll see. I locked in my profits just to get some profits locked in. Why not? And then obviously I'm still riding. That might be the pop right there, though. Fuck. It's catching a bid now. Yeah, the SPY down, down, down. It's just, is this real or is this a fake out? Maybe we just don't pull that far back today. Maybe we don't. Can you break down SoFi? Want to know when it's best to buy more? Oh, I have no idea when it's best to buy more. Folks, I wish I could tell the future. I just can't. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people are watching SoFi, and I know that has quite a bit of just that social media presence for sure, but I am just not some SoFi expert, and more importantly than not being a SoFi expert is I don't know the future. I can't tell you definitively when it's best to buy more. All I could tell you is whenever you go long, minimize your risk. Minimize your risk. Dude, is it really gonna That's the pullback that we're getting. It's those undecided candles. Fuck. I think this is going to force me to go long. I mean, it just dipped right there. We had a bit of a pop. If I'm wrong, I'm off by 15 points, giving back today's gain. So I'm only risking the day's gain. Oh, 50-50 game, folks. It's a 50-50 game. It's a 50-50 game. I could wait, but then if I go long there, that's pretty much going long at the high of the day. Not necessarily the biggest fan of that. Not necessarily the biggest fan of that. All right, let's do a realistic review. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour bullish. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour bullish. Flow popped, now flat, but more bullish than bearish. SPY popped, came down, now potentially flat, but who knows which way this is going to break. So momentum is clearly bullish, more bullish on the SPY. That could have been the dip right there.
Order submitted.
Let me do some math on this one. Let me do some math. All right. That's the most I'm going to go for. I just like to have that marked out. Obviously, I might get out earlier. If you guys have seen my show at all, you obviously know, like, I like to be just a bit more aggressive with my stop management than anything else. But in the meantime, I do put up an OCO and order cancels order just to know, like, my max, to just basically stop myself from being greedy and trying to ride past it. So I know that's my max, but in reality, I'll probably get at some point in this trade, probably my stop will get hit, and it's just more of where will it get hit? Will it get hit in the red zone at break even or somewhere closer to the actual profit? Or will I be in my rare 1/3 of a case where it actually like rips all the way up to the profit that I want it to? Oh, brother. 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 All right, so if this hits, if my stop hits, it's 20 points. That's $400. So I'll just be slightly red on the day. I'll be down by like $50 on the day per account. Thoughts on Coinbase ripping? What do you mean? It's just people are aggressively buying it rather than selling it. That's why something goes up. I do like that pop there, though. Mag 7, I would love to see the upswing. SPY had an upswing, quickly got hit. We are seemingly holding a... I really thought this was going to dip down to this 6,120 level. It's just the dip was not that much of a dip, which is why I'm like a bit hesitant. A wee bit hesitant. But that 5-minute, we broke the high. Even on this one, we broke... Like, that's a good technical entry. It's trading with price structure, with price momentum, and with the options flow. And we have clear, well-defined targets to the upside. So all that you can really do is just pray that your wrist doesn't get hit. And I have my wrist set exactly where I need it to have set. If I get clocked, I get clocked. But remember, the next bar it's out of your hands. It's just, I filmed a video on this yesterday. It's coming out tomorrow, but to better explain it for my poker players in here, all you can do at any point in your trading career is well, first of all, you should never be judging the quality of your trade on the outcome. That's referred to as resulting. That would be equivalent of like basing, did you play your poker hand right on did you win or lose money? You might have done a stupid bluff, or you might have had a great hand and maybe you got rivered, like, and you still played it properly. Never base it out on the outcome, and you shouldn't base it on the outcome because there are unknown variables in the game of poker, the flop, the turn, the river, other people betting. There's things that are about to happen that you are not in control of. clearly. So because there are things that are about to happen in the future that you have no clue what they're going to be, you can't take those into judgment of did you make a good decision or a bad decision. You just don't know. So the poker metaphor here would be you could be dealt pocket aces, and that's the strongest starting hand in Texas Hold'em. So you should be playing it and probably playing it aggressively, especially if you're in position. While the opposite end of that would be 2-7 offsuit, and that's the worst hand. Now, granted, you can win with the worst hand and you can lose with the best hand. So because you can still win or lose, even though you're playing it wrong, that does not mean that you should be judging the quality of what happened on did you make money or lose money. And it's the same thing on trading. So the equivalent here was you have a setup. That's equivalent to being like dealt your cards. From there, you have to start making decisions. And at that point, you can look at whatever your favorite indicators are, volume, levels, news, like whatever your reasoning is. You're basing your decision exclusively on the information you have out on hand. Now, after that, equivalent to the flop, the turn in the river, is going to be other news coming out, other people trading. Are people going to aggressively buy or sell? How's the bond auction going to go? Is there a random update from a CEO? Is there an FTC case? Is the president going to say something? Those are all things that clearly can have an impact on the success or failure of your trade, as in making money or losing money, that there's no way for you to potentially predict that. So you can't be fair in your judgment of was it a good trade or bad trade on that information, because it's stuff that's completely out of your hands. It is completely out of your hands. So all you can do, the quality of a trade should only be based on the quality of the decision making within the process of the trade. Did you get in when you had reasonable risk? Did your system fire? Were you disciplined? Throughout the trade, did you manage it properly? Did you cut it when you said you were going to cut it, whether it's taking your profits or your loss? Did you double down when you were supposed to? Did you scale out when you were supposed to? It's all based on did you follow the process, not necessarily did you make money. There's very good trades that you're going to lose money on. There's very bad trades that you're going to make money on. And I find that in the retail space, and it makes sense because we're all human, that we get this positive feedback loop of exclusively making money. So if you're in a situation where you do something wrong, as in maybe taking on too much risk and you just get lucky, it's telling your conscious and your subconscious that it's okay to do that time and time again, because your last result of it is that you made money, and why would you not want to make more money? When in reality, that's like actually pulling the wrong lesson from that particular event. So I would say, I am a big fan of everyone in here journaling, like writing down your trades. What did you do that day? What was your reasoning? What indicators? The more detailed your journaling, most likely the better it's going to be for you in your trading career. But as you're journaling the trades, I think a part of your journaling should also be, did you your own rating system of were you making quality decisions? Because in reality, that's really, really what's going to matter is, did you make quality decisions? And that's like one of the really major turning points in my own trading career is not only was I journaling my trades, but then from there I came up with a measurement system of was I making good decisions regardless of did I make money or lose money. And then the most interesting thing happened when I started to put together back-to-back days, back-to-back weeks, and back-to-back months of only making good decisions. I noticed that my P&L started to go up and up and up. And granted, there were still hits to it. Of course there are, because the market's going to be normally distributed. But overall, it kept climbing and climbing and climbing. So a good real-time example is I don't think that this is a surprise to anyone that I take the sim to funded accounts a lot less seriously than I do my own options account, my own futures accounts, because whatever, to me, it feels like fucking play money. And I probably shouldn't. I think that's like a toxic mindset, because if you do well in sim to funded, you could actually make a lot of money. But a good example of that was my lackadaisical attitude towards my futures accounts yesterday. I made really bad decisions. Not only did I make a bad decision, but then I made bad decisions following the bad decision. And before you know it, you lose the account. So those bad decisions, granted, the market could have just arbitrarily broken in my favor and I could have made money, and then I would have been taking the wrong lesson. And that's kind of arguably what happened on Tuesday. Was I did not the exact same, but a very, very similar trade. Was on the daily bar, I had a bullish bias, so I went long on Tuesday. Market dropped, didn't drop that much, and it came back and I made money. Then on Wednesday, pretty much the same thing. Starting off the day, I had a bullish bias before Powell spoke. I threw on a bullish position. It pulled back. This time, I didn't want to bet on it pumping, so I doubled down. And when that happened and it kept going against me, I tripled down. And before you knew it, you blew out. When in reality, if I just held the initial position, I would have gotten out perfectly fine. So I made two different really bad decisions. First of all, I wasn't trading a system or anything I back tested. I was just saying, hey, I have a bullish bias and I hope that like whatever, the random noise of the market gets me my profit. And then I made a second bad decision by doubling down. And then I made a third bad decision. At that point, I was just tilted and I said, okay, fuck it. Like it's going to go in my favor. I'm going to blow out. Like it's just, that's how shit goes. So like, if you want to survive this game, it's exclusively, this game is dominated by people who ceaselessly just make good decisions and do everything in their power to avoid bad decisions. And they have a different framework of the market. Their market of good and bad is not making or losing money. It's more of, did they follow exactly what they were supposed to do? Because there's certain things that you are just not in control of. And I find that retail trading is getting, for whatever reason, really focused on things that are not in their control. And that's just literally not how the market works. Like if you're putting all your focus and energy into things that are by definition not controllable, and a real example of this would be the very next bar. You're not in control of the next bar. I'm not in control of the next bar. It's, first of all, none of us are trading enough size to impact the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100. And if we were, you're definitely not here. But whether the next bar is green or red, that is out of our control. You cannot control, will it go up or down in the next bar? So, but yet we all get like fascinated with that of like, oh, it's going to break out. I think it's going to break out. I get it. We've all been there. We've all had those times where like, yo, like you want it to happen, but it's counter our knee-jerk reaction to the market and like how we approach it. But I think as soon as you start really documenting it and writing it down and thinking about that daily, those are your first steps in starting to do like what I would define as like right. I think that's really important. These lizards are native to sub-Saharan Africa and have been spreading throughout Florida, particularly in urban areas with males reaching up to a foot in length. What? Why are you battling giant lizards? That sounds crazy. Hey, Matt, you should rename the show The Next Bar. Dude, I actually love that. That's a fucking great suggestion. The Next Bar. That's a fucking great name for this show. The Next Bar. Really, is he talking about a bar? Is he talking about a trading bar? Is he talking about the next jail cell bars? It's a great suggestion. The 80% off of Kohrs on Spot Gamma doesn't seem to work. It does. Just use the link. Like if you go to that link and you check out, it's $50. It definitely does. People literally were using it yesterday. Just make sure you're using that link, dude. It's in the description of the video. SPY going for an intraday high. SPX, I think technically, did it technically tag it? It almost there. We're like equal with it. SPY, new intraday high. SPY, new intraday high. Xanax bar. We're going to need some after this trading week. Why don't you just buy high and sell low? I've been doing that way too much lately. Way too much lately. Way too much lately. Where are we? Where is Pipper? Pipper. Oh, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Pepper. Hell yeah, Pepper. Pepper. Today's the 26th, right? Sick. All right, if you're in the Discord, Piper just fired. I myself am attempting to take a trade here. Let's see what I can do. Let's see what could be done. What is today? All right. For some reason, that's not fucking working. Feel free to join the Discord if you want. The first month is free if you use that Goonie. Prices are going to actually go up soon when I figure out this other website, but mum's the word on that one. There would be a couple people uniquely pissed off if they found out about that. Fuck. Mum is the word on that one. Man, this fall is just not selling for anything right now. It's not selling for diddly squat. How is the vol this collapsed? Damn, dude. This really isn't selling for anything. I mean, I guess I'll take a smack at it, you know? Like win in Rome. If we're here, why not be degenerates? You know what I'm talking about. But like this trade, there's the vol, the low IV, VIX getting cratered. Ugh. Ugh. You know? Might as well oversize this bet too while we're doing stupid stuff. You know? When you're being dumb, don't do anything half-ass, including when you're doing dumb stuff. If you're going to do dumb stuff, do it at the fullest capacity. Do it at the fullest capacity. I should probably do... Huh. What in tarnation am I doing with my trades right now? What in tarnation will I be? Will I be? Well, dang nabbit, I will be. Let's see if that fills. Who knows? Communism is like veganism. It's kind of cool unless you like food. Damn, I'm only just above break even. That was not a quality fill, and we're also just not moving that much. Vol really is just non-existent today, folks. Non-existent vol. Tesla's approaching 330. Timmy fell in a well? It is. It is. Is it time to get back into old Tesla? Old Tesla. All right. We have an intraday high at 331. Has gotten pretty beaten up. Let's look at the hero on Tesla. How's the Tesla flow been looking? So Tesla finally catching a bid here at 1042. Interesting. Do we look at it in the equity hub? Old Tesla. Is this right? So 350 is very obviously the natural test, and you have support at 320. The issue is there might be an issue getting above 330, 335. 335 is the big test. And then 350 is the very evident natural target. I mean, that in terms of risk reward, that's not a bad deal. You have $10 of downside risk and $20 of upside reward. 350 is the target. 320 is the risk. Fuck it. I've taken worse trades in my life. Your boy's taken worse trades in his life. You all know that. If you've been here for more than one show, you know I've done dumber shit. You know it. You know it. I know it. We all know it. It's just how much money can I possibly lose on Tesla, right? You know it. I know it. All right. If you're in the Discord, I just slapped on a trade on old Tesla here. To be fair, the swing bot did not fire on this one. This one is old Matatui's just gut fucking feel on it. Matatui. All right, if you're in the Discord, the swingers there. That's there. We'll see. It's a risk. I don't know if 330 is going to break. I'm seeing an issue here at 330 and at 335, but if you can get it above it, pretty much clear sailing based on the current structure up to 350. Let's look at, oops, nope, didn't want to do that. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, well, that's an interesting structure. Long calls and short puts. Well, if you're short puts, that's actually bullish. But then here, someone's also long calls. So that can make some issues at 340. 350, that's a lot of long calls. I didn't realize there was so much action at the 340 strike. High vol points all the way up here at 360. When in Rome, I'm unsure today. Ron, I'm unsure every day. Every fucking day of my life, I woke up confused and scared. Speaking of that, the show's pretty much over. Well, pay attention to Netflix, all-time highs. Coin is ripping to all-time highs. Tesla may be picking up 330 is important, so it's 335, 340, then 350 is a target, and then 360. So maybe, just maybe, this thing is catching, maybe this is a higher low. You could feel way more confident about it when it takes out the high from yesterday at 343, if it were to. Meta, new all-time, nope, that's a scratch, sorry. Targeting new all-time highs at 740, basically one. We might as well mark that up. NVDA, new all-time highs. Congrats if you played that. Avago, almost new all-time highs. Got really close. We posted it yesterday. Palantir, new all-time highs, but profit-taking. Netflix, oh shit, almost. It got up to 98 yesterday, and today it got up to 95, so close. ASML taking a breather. Microsoft, new all-time high. Apple, not doing shit. CoreWeave, well, maybe a little bit of a topping pattern. Circle saving itself from near disaster. MicroStrategy not doing much. Rum picking up, might be recapturing the EMA cloud. DJT getting murked. Qualcomm higher low, nice follow through. BITX, that's just leverage Bitcoin. Ripple getting red but getting rejected at the top of the cloud. Solana, similar situation. Texas Roadhouse green as always. Bonds slightly down. Oil maybe recovering. Gold flat. Vol getting murdered. So you guys have seen my stuff. I've had one trade today, and I made 350 on it, and then I have a runner right now. Oh, should I just play this recent low? I could just... I'm tempted to just move my stop up to here because this recent low is my fill. What would you guys do? If you guys were identifying as a good trader, what would you do? What would you get? If I need all the self-identified good traders to speak up here and let me know how you would handle this particular situation. Would you put your stop to break even? Would you put it to where it is now? Would you use this recent low? Would you not even have to stop? Would you just pray your profit gets hit? What are the vibes? What's the vibes? Let it ride. YOLO. So you guys are saying, like, just fucking don't even. You're saying Tim said go. Dude, is Tim still in here, that little fucking pussy? He is. You still hiding? Bitch boy. Dude, I can't believe this guy owes me $1,000. This little socialist bitch. And he's still in here. Classic, dude. If there was a better descriptor of socialism than Tim right now, of like using every capitalist tool possible to watch a capitalist make money, and then you're fucking cosplaying as a socialist. That little fucking bitch. Tim. One day, Tim, I hope you grow up. Tim. Hate watching? Yeah, probably. Actually, that's why I'm such a douchebag about it, because I read an article once that you get more hate views than you do anything else. And obviously a person like myself, always looking to optimize engagement and optimize returning viewers, it does work better if you guys hate me. So I could have gone down the path of being revered, but then I realized it's just better for my metrics if you guys absolutely hate me. You know, I'm playing 5D chess. Someone said, what the fuck happened to Tesla? Tesla? Wait. No. Really? Seconds after I get into it? Yeah, it just got murked right there at that 330 resistance level. Dude, like, I put my calls on at like 11:05, like within 10 minutes. No. This market's rigged. I want a refund. I want a fucking refund. What time was that trade executed at? Is executed at 11:08. Right here. 11:08. I got in at here, a little bit of a dip, and then 3 minutes later, Armageddon, dude. Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. What's going on with Tesla? What the fuck?
Order canceled.
Oh, hell yeah. Look at that. 20 G's, 18 on Apex, and a 2 on Take Profit, 1,000 each. So 20 G's. 20 G's, 20 G's, locked in. Nice. 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 That's how he does it. That's how she does it, folks. Well, that was easy. Where was this? I needed to do one quick thing here. I just need to make sure that I canceled all my existing orders. But I just got to fill at 22,608. Locked them all in. You saw the 2 trades today. Read them and weep. I don't know what to tell you. As Michael Saylor pointed out in chat, I have no edge. This is just pure luck. I don't even know what edge is. I know about edging. I happen to be a master edger. But when it comes to an edge in the stock market, I don't know what to tell you, folks. I don't know. I just saw a news article from Austin. Tesla robotaxi has first safety concern reported in Austin. That's already been out. That's already been out. All right. I think I got rid of all these, the like standing orders. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm not sometimes I have rogue orders fire and it like really bums me out when I come back to a blown out account. All right, 1,000. That's nice. Good way to start. Matt, is Tim a plan to drive engagement? Oh, of course.
Order filled.
Order filled. All right. We are all good. 20. Wait. No. No. Why did it trade? No. This is why you got to check, folks. What is this tomfoolery? And there's still an order in there? What's going on? Why the fuck are these in here? This is... Are there other pending orders? All right, none of these seemingly have orders. I'm just like kind of spot checking them. Okay, so they don't have pending orders. Why do the two... What the fuck? No, this isn't Skynet. This is a stupid trade copier issue. I wish it were Skynet because that means I could fix it. This is definitely... I mean, you saw that it got filled. Like, literally, if you go back in the stream, you're going to see this was locked in at 1,000 and there was no active trade. I disconnected the data feed, reconnected the data feed, and then it fired off a trade. Like, what the fuck?
Order filled.
All right, whatever. Made an extra $70, so avoided disaster. But here, orders, cancel all orders. I don't know. Maybe I should just try disconnect and reconnect it again to see what happens. Hello? I'm trying to reconnect. All right, that time it didn't fire. So I think I'm good. I think I'm Gucci. I think I'm good. I think I'm Gucci. Well, Tesla bouncing back a little bit. That was a bit crazy, but yeah, no, at this point, easy peasy lemon squeezies, folks. Don't overcomplicate this. We had that support at 6,120, ran up to it, got smacked, higher low, went over, recaptured it. That's your long opportunity. This is your long opportunity. And now you ride it. At this point, you could just track your break even, or you could set it to break even, or you could track recent lows. And basically, you're just trying to look for that clear sailing up to the all-time high, where I would fully be expecting on the initial test a rejection of people just taking their profits. So just want to let you guys know all about that. If you haven't already, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video is what I use to trade with other people's money. I think it's a good way to minimize your own risk. Use that code Goonie to get... Oh, where the fuck did it go? Use the code Goonie. You know, it's pinned to the top of chat. Use that code Goonie to get 30% off for life and pay no activation fee. So check that out. Like I said, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. That's it for today. Thursday, we'll be posting an update video, and then we'll be streaming once again tomorrow morning for Friday to conclude the week, the inflation report, all that good jazz. So stick to your trading plan. Remember, focus on the things you can control. Don't focus on what you can't control. Retail gets it opposite, and they focus on the uncontrollables, when in reality, you can focus on your entries and your exits, but you can't force bars to go up or down. So remember that. And this game really is all about risk management. When you are borderline like paranoid about your risk, that's really when you're going to start doing like some damage to the market and really start stacking up those gains. So focus on your risk, and it looks like we're running into a pretty large positive gamma area, so I wouldn't be surprised if things start to slow down here. Any oozles, that's what I have for you. I'll catch you in the update video later. If you want to watch the update video from yesterday, it was all about what's going on with Tesla. That's in the description of the video. I would truly appreciate it if you guys check that out. We don't have the best overlap between the live stream audience and the video audience, and I'm trying to marry you guys. So I think if you have a free 10 minutes, I think you're really going to like it. Like I said, in the description of the video, it's also posted in just the video section of whatever channel you're watching on right now, whether Rumble or YouTube. That's what I have for you. Crush the markets. I'll catch you later. Thanks for the good vibes. Peace.